Hey guys, this is Ajay Kumar. Today our topic is a narrative review of storing and queuing XML document using relational database. Abstract. Extensible markup language has become a common language for data interchange and data representation in the web. The evolution of the big data environment and the large volume of data which is being represented by XML on the web increase the challenges in interactively managing such data types in the sorting and queuing. Numerous solutions have been introduced to store and queuing XML data, including the systems, object-oriented database, native XML database, and a relational database. Previous research attempts indicate that the RDB is the most powerful technology for managing XML data to date. Because of the structural variations of XML and RDB, we need the map XML to the RDB scheme increased. This growth has promoted numerous researchers and database runners to produce direct approaches to map XML document to an RDB, translating different types of XPath and SQL queries, returning the solutions of XML format. This paper aims to comprehensively review most cited and the latest mapping approaches and database vendors use RDB solution to store and queuing XML documents in a narrative manner. Introduction. Extensible markup language is recognized as the dominant standard for data exchange and represented on the web. XML helps in storing semi-structural database oriented and independent form to describe the information. The exchange of database in direct platforms in a simple process through its characteristics. XML has empowered correspondence among diverse computing frameworks which would have been unimaginable or difficult to the past. By using XML, a general structure of exchanging data is provided, irrespective of the data model and the form of application. Therefore, XML has been adopted and supported by some software vendors, tools, servers, and databases. Mapping XML data to the RDB. The mapping of an XML document to relations is not an easy task to achieve due to the variety of data models between the XML document and the RDB especially. The XML data model is represented as hierarchical, nested, and repeated XML elements as shown in figure 1. While the relational data model is represented as tables, although some of the major database vendors currently provide solutions for mapping XML documents to relations, this topic has to attract and attention of many researchers who have explored other possibilities in this section. The extensions are solutions proposed by other researchers and discussed in detail and examples are provided. First, model-based mapping approaches. First of all, we introduce XML mapping and query mapping. In XML mapping, XML document and XML DOM parser and X2 DB mapping tuples. It connected to the database management database engine. And in query mapping, XPath query and parse XPath query and X2 SQL mapping. It connected to the database engine.
Discussion. Managing large volumes of XML data in big data environment using an relational database approach is considered as a challenge. This is because of the difference between the structure of XML data, which is semi-structural data with hierarchical representation, and the structure of relational database data, which is a relational data with tabular representation. This can be achieved by developing a mapping approach to resolve this challenge, which is considered an active area of research. An XML document needs to be mapped accurately so it can be represented as a relational database scheme. Users can then access the document by using the same mechanism used in RDBS. Users can also then issue XML queries over the document, which are translated into XML queries over an relational database, and the result of the query is translated back into XML. All these processes are done internally. However, mapping XML data to an RDB is a difficult task for all IT organizations globally. So there is a need to develop a mapping prototype that contains interfaces and tools to ease the storing and querying of XML data in relational database. Finally, the conclusion. The main objective of this paper is to review and analyze the existing literature on database vendor tools like IBM DB2, Oracle, and SQL servers, and mapping approaches such as structure-based and model-based approaches for mapping XML documents to an RDB scheme. This review is important because it reports on the current state of art in the development of mapping tools, with a particular emphasis on the development of RDB scheme that requires less storage space on the reduction of time taken to execute different types of queries to achieve high query performance. To this end, this paper reviewed different types of mapping approaches for storing and querying XML documents in RDBS found in the literature. These approaches include IBM DB2, Oracle, SQL Server, Inlining, Lego DB, SHREX, XML to Relational, X2 or Edge, X Recursive, etc. This review discusses the methods used by each approach, type of approach, scheme definition, technique used, and the issue that lead to a high storage space requirement and query response time. Thank you.